the week 3 recap. We're going to let this weekly recap play, and then we'll get started with the show.
Fall is in the air and not a moment too soon. I'm Scott Hansen, and this is your EA Sports Weekly Recap for Week 3. Plenty of action to get to. We'll begin in Santa Clara. The Niners at home to take on the Los Angeles Rams. And this is Isaac Guerendo. Grabs it out in the left flat, and then look at him go. 79 yards for the score. The Niners are off to a 3-0 start as they get the victory. Meanwhile, let's check in on the Dolphins as they play host to the New England Patriots. And this is Travion Henderson. One more to show you real quick. It's over in Tampa, the Buccaneers taking on the Eagles. And this is not exactly a thing of beauty, but it'll do the job. A scintillating run for the touchdown. And that's a wrap for this week. For all the hardworking men and women in the studio, Scott Hansen saying goodnight. We'll see you again next week right here on EA Sports.
All right, so we had a pretty long football weekend. You guys know I'm very excited that Shedeur Sanders played pretty well. There's some things that he can definitely fix, and then there's some things that he can definitely that he did well as well. So overall, they played great. As far as the Browns, very big decision to see what they're going to do. Anyway, week 3 recap. We would do the incentive check first. We see home team, away, nothing really to worry about. As far as the incentives, everybody is in the clear. All right, we'll start at the top and then we'll get to the bottom. Raiders defeated Green Bay 35-19. User, we had the Jags against the Ravens. Pretty sloppy game as far as the entire matches that we played. We actually played a total of 3 times. The game just kept dropping for some real weird reason. He turned the ball over 5 times. We turned it over 1 time. We actually had to beat him all 3 times because we was up every time we was beating him, and then the game dropped. So it sucked, but, I had to scratch and claw. We also owned the possession, 27 minutes. Shedeur Sanders, 1 TD, 1 interception, 276. He completed 68 passing completion percentage. Lamar Jackson, 288, 2 TDs, 5 interceptions. Just can't get the job done like that. We did run the ball well. I mean, we ran the ball a lot, as you guys can see. We didn't get a lot of yardage, but we made it an attempt to get some yardage. We're looking like a complete team this year. When you can run the ball along with passing, I think it's keeping everything balanced. Receiving wise, his guys was unstoppable. Mark Andrews, 11 receptions, 282, 2 TDs. This kid right here was the GFSSL Rookie of the Year. He had a great game as well. Defensively, as I said before, we had 5 interceptions. 4 came from our will linebacker, and then 1 came from Caleb Ransall. Shedeur did throw 1 interception to Roquan Smith, but it wasn't nothing to be frustrated about. Moving on, Lions and the Falcons, 35-21. Didn't interview neither guy. Let's see. Lions is a new kid on the block, but 35-21. Turnover battle was 0-0. Avery Johnson, 221, 5 TDs. That's pretty good right there. Running game was okay. Amon St. Brown had 6 receptions, 108, 1 TD. Defense came to play in this one. Nobody really created any turnovers. We had a lot of tackles in this one. And then the Lions was able to beat Coopy's Falcons 35-21. Next up we had was the Bengals and the Chiefs. The Chiefs lost 38-17. 4 interceptions. Well, no, 4 turnovers. Yeah, 4 interceptions. Okay. Patrick Mahomes, 205, 1 TD. Receiving wise, Saquon Barkley had 160, 1 TD. Carson Steele had 122. It just was a lot of running in this game. The Bengals defense was able to come up with some turnovers, and that's always huge, and they was able to win big time, 38-17. Next up we had was the Bills and the Commanders. Buffalo Bills won. I mean, no, the Buffalo Bills lost. Okay, 17-14. Let's see, because we got a lot of interviews. I want to make sure I don't skip anybody. Bills. All right, we didn't interview him. And Commanders. All right, so we didn't interview neither one of those guys. Commanders won 17-14. It was 7-0 in the first half. That fourth quarter was clutch for the Commanders. They outscored their opponent, 10-8, but they were able to finish strong. Jaden Daniels, 168. Josh Allen, 2 TDs, 1 interception. Nobody really did too much in the run game or the receiving department. Just one of those old school style games. Trey Amos came up with the interception, Ole Miss native, and they was able to win 17-14. Next up we had was the Eagles and the Bucks. Bucks won this one 26-21. I know you guys tired of hearing me right now, so I'm gonna play this video clip and let you guys hear Rio speak out after the win. I think I also interviewed the Eagles as well.
What's going on, Stephen A. Man? I appreciate the interview, man. First and foremost, man, Philly, tip your hats off to them, man. That was a great game, man. I needed that game. My team needed that game. My defense, my offense. It was very challenging on both sides of the ball. My defense ended up playing a magnificent game, man. They played a great game. I'm hoping the momentum continues throughout the season. They actually won us the game, man, holding Philly to 21 points or whatever it was. The offense still, we're still trying to, get it together, but we played great. We missed a couple of field goals. We got in the movie, like we was moving the ball. Year 3 underway, Stephen A. What's going on, brother? Appreciate moving the ball pretty well. Ran the ball pretty well. We just couldn't generate no points. Turning the ball over in the red zone or whatnot. But for the most part, man, it was an all-around win. We needed every aspect of the ball, everybody to be implemented into the game. And offense, defense, special teams is what I'm trying to say. Special teams played a big part of it. So we did good, man. We got a big opponent coming up against the Saints. Week 4. There's going to be a great divisional game at the early part of the season, and I'm trying to get my guys ready for that. That's about it, man.
Yeah, that's going to be a very big game. That's one I'm gonna definitely keep my eyes on. The Saints been rolling. That kid is pretty good. I've been seeing him a lot. Next up we had was the Patriots and the Dolphins. Patriots won 31-14. We will play against the Dolphins tomorrow. Let me see. Okay, we will play against the Dolphins tomorrow. Um, Turnover battle was 2-0. Drake May 173, two TDs. Trey Henderson had 168, two TDs rushing. Wide receivers, not so much, not so great. But we had some defense. The Patriots were able to come up with some defense. It was 17-7 in the first half, 0-2 as far as turnover battle, as I said before, and they lost the time of possession, but um, they was able to come out victorious. Drake May just got the job done. He completed 80% of his passing completion percentage, and they was able to go on to win the game, 31-14. Speaking of the Saints rolled over the Titans, 38-17. I did chime in with the Titans after the loss, and we'll see what he had to say.
Yeah, it was a. He's a great. He's a great user. He's a great team. Archie Manning is awesome. He's a great running back as well. Um, he was very balanced. Kept me off guard.
All right, so he's actually speaking about Arch Manning. My question was, what made Arch Manning so difficult to stop? He's been, you guys know he was taken early in the past year's draft, and so he's doing good right now. 253, three TDs. So my question to the Titans was, how do he feel about Arch Manning? And we'll see what he had to say.
Yeah, it was a. He's a great. He's a great user. He's a great team. Archie Manning is awesome. He's a great running back as well. Um, he was very balanced. Kept me off guard. Once I fell behind by two scores, I kind of panicked and threw my game plan out the window. Became one dimensional and made it a lot easier for him to kind of choose what he wanted to do. I know moving forward, I just need to stick to my game plan. I need to be better as a user because I was just allowing guys to run wide open through the secondary, which was unfortunate. So at the end of the day, take this as a lesson learned. We'll try to get better. And now look forward to Texas.
Appreciate that. I definitely understand that for sure. We did speak out with the Saints. He's been rolling, and he gave us his thoughts. I asked him about Arch Manning as well. Being able to draft this kid, they haven't had a quarterback since Drew Brees, and so having Arch Manning, I think it's big for the Saints.
What's going on, Stephen A? It was all around a good game. The defense really played well. Was able to stop the run and not get a lot of sacks for just enough pressure to affect a lot of throws. But moving on from Jalen Hurts, I really debated it because he played so well for me. I would say he was a top 5 quarterback last year in terms of he had good yards, a lot of touchdowns, and not as many interceptions. But the reason I moved off of him was because of the contract that he would want in the future. And I figured I could get more from him now as he had 2 years left on his deal. So trading for Arch, I traded for the number 2 pick, which got me Arch. No regrets about it, really. He's just as mobile as Jalen Hurts, so I don't have to change my offense or anything, really. But our team was looking at the offense was really built to be able to develop a quarterback. We got 2 good receivers in Chris Olave and Tank Dell, and then Trevor Pena, which I think led the team last year. A good young slot receiver, a good young running back in Jamal Haynes, 2 good tackles, a veteran center. So just a really solid offense all around. So I thought we could be able to develop a rookie quarterback over the next few seasons, and spend that money that we'd spent on Hurts elsewhere. I just made a trade yesterday for Mike Hall Jr. to help bolster the defensive line and try to get more run stopping and pass rushing power. And other than that, our team these first few games looking good. Not as many. We didn't have a shootout in the first two user games, so our defense is doing better for now. That could easily change. I know that. Defense was non-existent last year in New Orleans until the first two playoff games. And the last two didn't exist again. But we're going to try to keep on building up Arch and make sure that we don't put ourselves in a position to try to force the entire offense onto them. But that's the plan. We'll see if we can stick to it.
All right, so you guys had a chance to listen to the future Arch Manning. The future of the Saints about Arch Manning. So I think that they have a promising future with him being the quarterback. Moving on, we had the Colts and the Chargers. This was a slugfest. I just be so busy towards the weekend to where I couldn't really get neither guy. I don't even think I interviewed neither one of these guys this time. But 24-21, Colts won. It was pretty tight. I mean, the Chargers went up 14-7 in the first half. Second half, Colts was able to come up with 3 points in the third quarter, and then they scored 14 in the fourth. They was able to finish strong. Turnovers was clean, 0-0 as far as turnover department, but the Colts did own the time of possession. Anthony Richardson Sr., 235, 2 TDs. He was the GFSSL MVP of last year. He won the incentives. And Herbert, 2 TDs passing. Rushing wise, Amari and Hampton came 2 yards away from a 100-yard mark. Jonathan Taylor was held on the 100 yards, which is surprising. He was, I think, he was top 3 in rushing last year. And the receivers, A.J. Brown, 11 receptions, 105, 1 TD. Overall, this team played great. This team is a very well put out team together, and he holds. Now he should hold. Let's see, the Colts owner absolution. Let's see how much incentives he now holds from Stephen A. Smith total. I can tell you guys that in a couple seconds. Because you have guys that have different opinions, and when it comes to incentives that's being paid out, and so I like to bring up so that's 150, 175. Okay, 175. That's 300. That's 400. That's 410. Okay, so he holds $410 from Stephen A. Smith and incentives. So, hey, I'm sure he enjoying it. Moving on, the 49ers and the Rams. 49ers won 31-17. I did interview 49ers. He been on vacation, so I'm not sure if he was able to actually make it happen. If he couldn't, that's fine. Yeah, he couldn't because he's pretty much moving around right now. But 31-17, turnover battle was 4-2. Just way too many turnovers from Cam Ward. The Titans moved away from Cam Ward this season, as you guys can see. And what's that? 4 interceptions. Running wise, 175 yards, 6.8 average is still pretty good. Not a lot in the receiving game, a lot of catches, but nothing that really stands out. We had a total of 6 interceptions in this game. Let's see the stats. Yeah, 6 total interceptions. 4 came from Ward and 2 came from Brock Purdy. Just way too many turnovers, and I'm sure the Titans aren't upset about trading away Cam Ward because it seems like he is still continuing to struggle. Next up we had was the Cowboys and the Giants. This is another game I wanted to get done on the interview, but Couldn't. Turnover battle was 3-0. Way too many turnovers, but Cowboys were able to win by 3 points. Um, Dak Prescott 199, one TD. Jackson Dart 280, two interceptions though. Um, Tyrone Tracy Jr. had 115, two TDs. Damon Claiborne was held on 100 yards. I think that's great. Jaden Blue 82 yards. Um, the receivers definitely did their thing as far as Theo Johnson, CeeDee Lamb didn't do too much, but he did have a TD. But nevertheless, the Dallas Cowboys won the game. Two of their players on the defense side of the ball created some turnovers, and they was able to win by 3 points, which is huge for their division. Next up, we had was the Steelers. Steelers defeated the Seahawks 31-28. I did interview him. He said I would gladly answer your questions, but the only problem is I'm hard of hearing, so it's hard to make out what the exact. So he didn't respond. I'm just now getting the message. So he will be okay simply because he wanted me to translate my question because he have a hard time hearing, and I'm just now seeing it. So he's cool. Turnover battle was 1-1. Sam Darnold 211, two TDs. Will Howard 253, one TD, one interception. They also were able to get some things done on the ground. 122 TDs rushing. Drake London. Can you guys imagine what it would have been like if I had him paired up with Travis Hunter? But he was traded to the Seahawks. We weren't able to get him last year, but he had 9 receptions, 138, one TD, and then we had 2 total interceptions. Both guys split the interceptions, and the Steelers was able to win 31-28. That's a big win right there. Moving on. Next up we had was the Browns and the Broncos. Shout out to Amfish. The Browns won today. I'm sure he's excited about that. He did not respond, so he is ineligible. He did not respond, but the Browns won 45-21, 42-7 in the first half. Pretty dominant performance. 3 interceptions, 3 turnovers. 2 came from Drew Aller. I guess the other one was a fumble. Trevor Lawrence, 195, 3 TDs. Dang, this guy ran the ball very well. 2 guys with 150, just about 150 yards rushing. Both of them had TDs as well, with J.K. Dobbins with 2. Quinshawn Judkins had 100 yards rushing. That's pretty good. Jerry Jeudy had a TD. David Njoku had 2 TDs. And so this was great. Defense looked good for the Browns, as you guys can see on the top left. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys for the Browns led in tackles. They play like real life, you know. 2 sacks came from the Broncos, but the Browns play like real life. You don't need a great quarterback for that team. You know, you just need somebody that just can just be subpar. I personally feel like that's all you need. Moving on, taking a look at the top performers, we see the Jets quarterback. I think he's a 1-year pro now. He just reached 1,000 yards. Cam Ward 968, 6 TDs. Herbert got 961, 10 TDs. Robinson, Taylor, and Claiborne are the top 3 in rushing, with Robinson pretty much taking over the rushing yards. Receiving yards, you got Andrews, Tampa Bay player, Laporta, and Knox, tight end for the Jags. Sack leaders, you got Bailey, Phillips, and Hickman. They're the top right now in sacks. Interceptions, you got Lloyd, Will linebacker from Jacksonville, Davis the third, and Stone with the interceptions. And tackles, you got Arnold, Holland, and Campbell as far as tackles go. Taking a look at the standings, I know it's early right now, but we can kind of get an idea, see what's going on. On the AFC right now, you got three teams are still undefeated. Jaguars is a team that is definitely playing with the chip on their shoulders this year. Speaking of chip, Tony Jennings did interview with me. Um, we also have an interview from the Broncos. So we'll play the Broncos interview as he spoke about playing against the Browns before the interview with Tony Jennings. So let's get to it. The Browns. All right, so let's see what he had to say after losing to the Browns 45-21.
What it do, Stephen A? I hope all is well. Happy Thanksgiving to you and the family, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone in the league that celebrates it. I'll just, keep it short and simple. Shout out to the Browns user. I really don't think he is a good user. I also don't think he's a bad user. I think he got a really good and stuff. I think early on, I really got down really bad, like you said, with the turnovers. I think it was pre-snap what I thought would be the coverage was not the actual coverage. So I think when I got down pretty bad, 35-0, I didn't want to just, not. So, on the bright side, the running game kind of had a nice bit to it. And passed the ball.
Yep, that sounds bad, but he did say if this sounds bad, he could step outside. I'm just now seeing that. So he just pretty much spoke about the game. He said he don't think Adam Fish is a very good user, but he don't think he's a bad user as well. So a little shade probably thrown a little bit at the Browns. But yeah, back to the situation. Tony Jennings interviewed Stephen A. Smith as we look at the standings. And you guys know Stephen A. Smith was suspended 2 games, missed the playoffs last year. And then Cowboys had a 2-game suspension this year, and they only was suspended 1. So Tony Jennings sat down with me to speak about the situation, how I feel, and I also had a chance to play against the Jaguars. As you guys can see, I beat the Jets. My bad. I beat the Jets 45-42. This is the guy, Mike, who suspended me. And so, of course, this was a game that I wanted to prove something to, simply because, for one, he suspended me 2 games last year. I missed the playoffs. And 2, he uplifted one of the suspensions of the Cowboys. So let's see what Tony Jennings had to say.
This is Tony Jennings with a live report. I am here after the game of the New York Jets versus the Jaguars. Coach Smith, how do you feel after getting the victory? What do you think was the keys to your win? And tell me a little bit about that. We got a lengthy interview to go over here.
So I personally think the game came down simply to my ability to run the ball. I know most people know by now I can pass it, but I think my ability to run the ball definitely played a huge part of this game. We had 2 running backs, 77. That's pretty ironic, but we had a total of 144, just about a little over 150 yards rushing between 3 running backs. We also had 2 guys with multiple TDs. Desmond Reed had 3. Receiving wise, our tight end, Dawson Knox, he had some big plays. Travis Hunter as well. So I think my biggest reason of winning came down to my ability to run and just basically try to get the last possession. And overall, I think the Jets played great. He was very patient with a few of our disconnects. And he was aware that it was on my end. So, but he still gave me the opportunity to get everything fixed. Um, so the internet service people came out and they got everything fixed because I hate having to play games over and over because I'm a busy person. But shout out to Mike for being patient during the process. But we still got the job done, and it was important. It was important to win this game. So let's keep this interview rolling.
Great job, Stephen. Now, I noticed you alluded to the second game suspension being lifted off of the Cowboys. Now, you know, history tells me there was only one other time that one user was suspended 2 times during the same season. That user happened to be Miami Killer when he owned the Indianapolis Colts. He got suspended during the regular season for being, which is his nickname is still the Stretch God. All right. And then he was suspended during the playoffs, the divisional playoffs. His running back, Jonathan Taylor, was suspended that year as well, which stopped him from going to the Super Bowl repeating. Now, what do you think happened as to why would Mike, the head honcho, go into a team chat and say, I'm feeling festive, so I'm going to uplift the band. I'm going to allow you to play your game. Considering the fact that all of the players that were suspended year one, which some of us had rookie running backs. This is Tony. So that was messing with the development of our players. We weren't able to, put in a grievance or even have a side conversation about why we were being suspended, about how that would affect the development of our players. How do you feel about that?
Honestly, I think everything came down to Cowboys complaining with Mike consistently for a very long time. It got to the point where the Cowboys basically stated, well, no, it got to the point where Mike basically stated to the Cowboys last year that, stop it. You're suspended 2 games. You keep on bothering me. I'm going to suspend you throughout the playoffs. That came out of Mike's mouth. And he allowed him to still be able to play the playoff game. Whereas me, you guys know I'm somebody that I'm not being cocky, but I play a huge role into these shows. There's guys in the league before they join message me about my impact as far as the show. There's guys in the league now appreciate the Stephen A. Smith stuff. So I don't need handouts though. If I break a rule, I break a rule, and I'm never going to complain. Unlike others, I'm not going to complain about anything. Now, if I didn't do it, then that's when I complain. The user catching was the one that I complained about because I know there was never a user catch. So they went back over it and fixed it, but they still gave me 2 games. The moving players pre-snap was what I did, and I agreed to that. But yet they gave the Cowboys a pass. And so, me personally, I just feel like that, you know, that's just something that I did not like. I just say it like that. So let's keep the interview going.
Wow. Now, Stephen, you bring up very good points in that rebuttal right there. Um, Unfortunately, no, you didn't complain enough. Unfortunately, no, you didn't go behind the scenes and talk to various commissioners and say, hey, man, why am I being suspended 2 games? I mean, granted, on one thing I broke the rules. On the other thing, you guys completely made up. It was completely fabricated, as we can attest to, going back and looking at the scripts that came out after that. But, you know, I think you might be onto something. There had to be so much complaining, so much rhetoric behind the scenes. You know, I, I mean, hey, we already know that was the case during the first initial suspension because, I must have, some type of voodoo dolls or something because without them ever even reviewing the tapes, without them ever even looking at the streams, they agreed with me that it was egregious, that it wasn't sportsmanlike, that it was excessive, and they agreed with the suspension, the 1 game suspension, because during that time, since it happened in 2 different games, I did say to them behind the scenes, I think it should be for 2 games. I think his running back should be suspended for
Tony Jennings with a live report. I am here.
My fault, guys. Hold on.
2 games. Notice how I'm not saying he should have been suspended the whole game, like he couldn't play the game. I said suspend his player for 2 games. They said, no, that's a little bit too much. Go ahead, suspend his running back for 1 game, and, you announce it. You be the bad guy on this one. I have no problem being the bad guy. I have no problem being one of the most hated personalities and players in the league. I don't give a fuck. But listen, one thing you have to understand is, for the most part, I believe in the NCFL and in the GFSSL league, we are all grown ass men. We are all grown men with bills. We are all grown men with jobs. We are all grown men with bank accounts. And the last time I checked, there ain't a motherfucker in this league that's putting shit in my pocket, putting nothing on my back, and putting nothing in my mouth to eat. So with that being said, I don't give a fuck who don't like me. That shit doesn't fucking bother me. Well, what the fuck? So, not to steer away from your thoughts on this, but, after we did the recap, I had all types of GAY voyeurism people coming out of the blue, commenting, talking about, hey man, your interview sounds emotional. No, you just sound like you want dick on your throat, buddy. Again, that guy, another guy from Texas, I don't fuck with him. Me and him aren't friends. This is the first time in 3 goddamn Maddens I ever made a trade with the motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? But the second he could pile on with everybody else on the dick snaps, he piled on the dick snaps. But hey, that's besides the point. But you know what, Steven? Listen, you are absolutely right. Out of everybody that got suspended because of all what you do for the league, of all the payouts, the commissioners don't even pay out shit. They don't. The only thing that they offer as as not even a fucking equalizer, but some weak flim flam is, oh, hey man, you can have a normal to a star. If you didn't make the playoffs. These motherfuckers ain't digging in their pockets pulling out shit because if they had to, they would.
Hi everyone, Scott Hansen with you, and this
Hit the wrong
is the
button.
EA
Hold up.
Sports Weekly Recap.
Hit the weekly recap by mistake.
Plenty of action to get to. We'll begin in Santa Clara. The Niners at home.
All right. right, I'm gonna let it play and then give you guys my thoughts as we end this recap.
They wouldn't. Out of everybody that got suspended 2 games, well, their players were suspended for 2 games. Well, no, we couldn't play for 2 games. That's correct. We couldn't play for 2 games. You're absolutely right. And we had to take the player out. Yes, because of all of what you do and provide for the league, you should have been the guy that second game that should have been allowed to play. Now, I've heard a commissioner come out of his fucking mouth, the same commissioner that in the chat tried to be buddy buddy and yo, I love what you do. You know, you'll have to reference that because I don't need to call this bitch ass out because I mean he's not that important. But the man literally sat there and told me behind the scenes, "Oh, the interviews and the recap? Oh man, that's just for fun. That shit's not real information. He's not really revealing anything. He's not doing anything with that. That's just for fun, bro." So the hours that you spent doing recap shows, weekly shows of the NFL, of the college league, that man sat there and said, "You do that shit for fun. That shit doesn't matter. That shit ain't giving out no valuable information." What? This motherfucker ain't never even been a part of anything. He's never done any of half the fucking work. But the man actually diminished your fucking work and then turned around in the motherfucking general tab and tried to big up you. Tried to, yeah, man, that was great, man. That was great work. No, let's just be honest, right? Let's just be honest. These guys don't appreciate the work that you put in. These guys don't appreciate the money that you spend. They can't. Because if they did, hey, listen, we would have never gotten to this point, right? We'd have never gotten to this point. It would have never gotten out of whack like that, you know? But, so, Stephen, so you believe that there was so much complaining going on that after that last year's game suspension, into the playoffs, into the Super Bowl, into the draft, into off-season and training camp, that Mike finally said, you know what? Go ahead and play the game, man. I'm feeling festive. Go ahead and play. But realizing what all you contribute to the league, you weren't given that. Not that you asked for it. Not that you would even have to ask for it, but you weren't given that nonetheless. So, what are your thoughts on the Deshaun Watson massage table? I mean, the name is cringe itself. The name was taken and made to make fun of Deshaun Watson, anyways. But what do you feel about that now? What do you feel about the rules in the league?
All right, so that was the last question coming from Tony Jennings. A lot of information as you guys can hear. That's one of the main reasons why we do these shows is to have guys gossip. You know, that's part of sports. You know, a lot of people may feel offended by certain things people say, but when you look at ESPN, when you look at First Take, when you look at um, Fox Sports, you see gossip. You know, um, main prior uh, example of that would be Shador Sanders. Everybody have different opinions. You got some people throwing jabs at Shador before today, by the way. You got people throwing jabs at Deion Sanders. That's part of sports. People are going to have different opinions. People are going to call out certain people. People are going to say things behind the scenes. And you just have haters, in real life, just in general. So as far as what Tony Jennings stated about a commissioner that's hiding behind the scenes and making statements as far as Stephen A. Smith show isn't uh, valuable, or Stephen A. Smith show is not legit, or trying to belittle what Stephen A. Smith does. It doesn't really matter, you know. For one, I give back because I'm going to get back in return. When I tell you guys I paid out $400 to Absolution, and the year is not over with. The man is dominating every year. Um, I mean, you ask him how does that $400? How is that $400? Um, as far as the shows in general, I mean, it speaks for itself. Um, I don't get paid for this channel. This channel here is a small channel. I do this just because I want you guys to be able to, the few people that appreciate it, maybe the 2 or 3 people out of 32 people that appreciate it can watch it and enjoy it. Because again, you know, anybody that have opinion about Stephen A. Smith, I don't have to pop my shit off any. I mean, right now, the real life Stephen A. Smith have 41,744 subscribers. So I don't have to get up here and pretend to be a professional because I'm already a professional in real life. So everything I'm doing right now is out of entertainment. It's not out of me wanting to seek validation or um, wanting me to seek attention from 3, 4 people, 5 people. Maybe lucky we get 10 people out of the league that watches this shit. Because at the end of the day, I'm a YouTuber. So I can tell you guys right now, at the most, on average, 5 people is going to watch this damn channel. You may get some guys that watch more of it when they see that I title things dramatic, because I understand how engagement works and thumbnails. I've been doing this for a living now, so I know all I have to do put in the title. Uh, Stephen A. Smith calls out Mike. Everybody's going to click on it. Everybody's going to watch it. And it's the same with my YouTube channel in real life. All I got to do is throw in Kevin Stefanski is sabotaging Shador Sanders. Everybody's going to click on that video and they're going to watch it. And I'm going to make on that video about, $300-400, on that one video. And then I'm paying out $100 or $150 every year between 2 leagues, not just one league. We're talking about on average, if I'm paying out, but shout out to the Titans though, man. I mean, he putting out some donations. Shout out to him, but for the most part, man, I'm putting out at least $300-400 between 2 leagues. I think that's pretty good, but I know I'm gonna get it back, so I don't look at it like other people. Maybe the hidden commissioner that he stated, have some type of, uh, I don't know, man. You're gonna always have people with different views. You might have somebody that he's talking about right now don't appreciate my work, but that's fine because at the end of the day, I'm not getting paid for this. That's number one. As far as Mike go, I mean, Mike is a cool guy. I feel like that he could have, if you're going to hand out freebies, then there's no doubt about it. You should have gave it to Stephen A. Smith. Um, but I don't seek validation as young Manson stated, Tony Jennings. I don't need Mike to do anything. So what I said is this next season, I said I'm a really, really dominate everybody I play. Because we had people complaining about me not running the ball. So it never was a rule about it. But I say I'm gonna show them that I can run. I can run as well. Now I haven't played my game yet, but I like where I'm at as far as rushing go. What that's top 10 in the league right now in rushing. I'm gonna be top. I'm gonna be up there. One, two, three, four, five, six right now in rushing. I'm gonna definitely be up there. And I'm top four in passing. So I'm showing people that I can do whatever I want to do offensively because I'm an offensive mind. I can really coach, literally. You know what I'm saying? I can coach offense. I know how to read coverages. They lowered the sliders, I guess, with the thought process that it's going to stop me from being dangerous with passing, but it's not because cover three is going to always be cover three. Cover two is going to always be cover two. This shit doesn't matter. You know, I mean, if they put it to zero, then maybe, yeah, we got a problem. But, um, I mean, regardless of what you do with the sliders, man, it's not going to change anything. The shit's still going to be what it's going to be. I wanted to show that with Mike when I played against Mike. That is what I wanted to show him. Um, yeah, you adjusted the sliders, but I still threw for 340. You threw for 421, but I still ran the ball a lot this game as well because it was so easy. I mean, 7.7, 6.4. I think people get that misconstrued with my game. Like if I see something working, I'm going to stick with it. I don't get paid for this. So I'm not playing with the mindset that that I have to win. Like that's not my mentality. If I come into a game where I'm passing and it's easy, then I'm gonna stick with the passing. I just haven't played anybody um, that can stop, just one thing. Maybe if you can stop the run, then I'm gonna pass more. As far as the Deshaun Watson table, just the whole entire the rule and all that. For one, before before the fact that uh, the Cowboys was uplifted their suspension, I was like, you know what? It's creative, but it's kind of fishy. It's still kind of fishy in a way to make a thread and name it the Deshaun Watson table. It's kind of a little bit suspect, but maybe it's just I don't know. I don't know. Behind that one, I don't know, but I do know that it's a joke, in my opinion, and it's a joke because you suspend a player for breaking a rule or a violation, and then you turn around and you grant him a wish. Um, that I mean, that's just common sense. It's not even about Stephen A. Smith calling it out. I mean, that's common sense. What you think the entire league thinks about that decision? Hey, so it's almost like when you do something for one person and don't do it for another, now you have created a whole entire other problem because now everybody's going to wonder or want the same treatment. People out there that's actually wanting to win $150 at the end of the season. People that want to win $25 at the end of the season so they can put it on some stocks or whatever else. Because I look at value of money different than everybody in this league. If I was Absolution, that $400 would have been in some stocks, it would have been in something else. I would have allowed that money to make more money for me. Or if he want to spend it, he can spend it. But I look at money and things like that different than most people. Um, so I mean, as far as the Deshaun Watson thread thing, I mean, that's kind of suspect when you think about it. But at the end of the day, we don't really know the intent behind that. I just know that um, the rules are the rules. So I believe in the rules. The rules are the rules. I don't see anything wrong with the rules, but I think it's more so about the standard. See, there's a difference between rules and standard. the rules are great. I love the rules, fourth down rules, wanting guys to run a little more, wanting to run 2 and 3 times with different running backs, all those things realistic. A little bit, I mean, because there's Jared Goff out there that throws the football 30, 40 times a game. So I'm not really necessarily speaking about passing the ball. I'm just speaking about standard. When you stand for something, then you have to stand behind it as a man. As he said, we're all men. So if you make a rule, if you make a rule and you say, hey, this is the Sean Watson table thing is going to be about violations. If you commit a violation and you receive a suspension, that's the suspension you receive. But if you uplift it just because of the feeling that you're having, um, what are you standing for at that point? Because if you are the league and you see that somebody is being granted to be able to play a game after committing a violation, that's a bad thing, But as far as everybody in the league, me personally, I don't know these guys, so I don't have anything. Just like Young Man has stated, I don't have anything negative to say about any of these guys. I don't know any of these guys. These guys not feeding me. You know, I was helping guys, build their channels like Massive. I still help out Young Man Team, you know, um, and giving out free promotion. If you make a video, I promote it on the back end and give you some views and help your subscribers grow. I'm that type of person because I know at the end of the day, when I give, I'm gonna get it back. So I'm before 2026, I would be halfway to 100K. So do you guys think that I'm concerned about that one commissioner that has that opinion about me? It is what it is. So Stephen A. Smith is finna go to Colombia. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm taking trips. Not only that, but my dog played a great game today. I'm gonna make this a thumbnail, by the way. How amazing today actually was. You know what I'm saying? So you guys just give me a second. We're gonna make a thumbnail. And you guys that's watching will be able to enjoy it with me. So we're gonna make a thumbnail of the video for the commissioner that's out there, that's hating or making statements about, Stephen A. Smith. I mean, just throw it up at him, man. My dog played great today. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, you can't stop the show. So, with that being said, Stephen A. Smith would like to say that I want to give a shout out to, Perfect Timing. He played a great game today. That's my chick. She had to wait. Um, Shout out to them Browns. Shador Sanders, man. The man threw 209 on TD. She just can't wait. That's what I'm more. That's what I'm more worried about. You know what I'm saying? Um, but she had to wait. 209, one TD, one sack. Shador was legendary today, man. Um, he broke a record today too. By the way, I want to make that announcement. Uh, she won't stop calling. They see my hoes love me. You know what I'm saying? I don't care about what other people think, but she had to wait. Shador Sanders won his first career start as quarterback for the Cleveland Browns against the Las Vegas Raiders. He threw 209. He was 11 of 20, one touchdown, one interception. The win was the first for a Browns starting quarterback in their debut since 1995. That's what this thing is about. You know what I'm saying? It's about stop calling me right now, though. Like, stop fucking calling me. Um, that's what this thing is about. You know, you got to understand something, Tony Jennings. The thing you have to understand is if you ain't got no haters, you ain't popping. The Cleveland Browns game, probably, you guys have to look for yourself, was the most watched game. And you want to know why? For a person to wonder that, you have to understand why. Because a lot of people would probably say to themselves, he has haters, but the haters watch more than the supporters do. Your supporters gonna support you, 1,000%. But what I've learned, like when it comes to like being successful, is that the haters support you more than those that believe in you. The people that saying, "Oh, he's a fifth round pick." The people that saying, "Oh, it was just the Raiders." The people that saying, "Oh, this about Dion," or "Oh, this about Shador." Those are the people that celebrating, because the more you talk about him, the more money and attention, the more he get paid. Commenting saying this and that about him, that's just running his bank account up. So with me, hey, I mean, I'm not worried about nothing. Do I look like I'm worried? I gotta get my hair cut though, but I mean, do I look like I'm worried at all? I'm doing good. I mean, it's legendary. It's legendary, man. I mean, I can't be more happier than what I am. My dog balled out today, so um so yeah, I mean, Mike can say what he want to say as far as, whoever the commissioner is, if it's Mike, OJ, the Patriots, I don't know who else, Guzzi is, who regardless of who it is, man, you're always gonna have haters, so I personally, from what I know, is that all of them supposed to be cool with me, but if they're not, it's not going to stop the show, man. Stephen A. Smith is going to be Stephen A. Smith on this game or without the game, so, it is what it is, man. What should we saying to say? It's legendary. So we're going to end this video on legendary. That's what we're going to do. You know what I'm saying? My dog balled out today, man. Them haters, they hate that shit. I can tell you that. So we're going to end it on that. Where is it? Is we're gonna start is we're gonna start with must be the money, because that's where it started. It ain't started with just Shador Sanders. It started with this kid, this guy. He's not a kid. Don't get me like that. Don't get me in trouble. He's not a kid, but it started here. This is when it started.
Yeah. Ever since I turned pro in 1989, when I signed the dotted line, it's strange. Some things change for the better and for the worse. So I called my mama and she said, baby,
See, you guys won't understand that. That's where it actually started. So now they can't do anything to him, or they can't stop him because he was so athletically gifted. They hated him. Now they want to throw shade at this kid.
they told me bust out my AP. Perfect timing. Got them baguettes up on my neck, I stay shining. It's never out of room, my jewelry chasing climbing. When they got that new Maybach, I stay grinding. They told me bust out my AP. Perfect timing.
That's how I feel about that.